Disturbing video out of South Carolina. A school resource officer at Spring Valley High School yesterday aggressively pulling a student out of her desk, then dragging that student across the classroom. Still unclear what happened before those video scenes were shot, but following the incident, school officials opened an investigation and the police officer was told not to return pending the outcome of that investigation. This video, the latest incident involving a police officer raising more questions about excessive force. Let's bring in our panel. For more, we welcome Alan Dershowitz, professor of law at Harvard Law School and the author of the book, The Case Against the Iran Deal. Also joining us, former New York police detective Thomas Ruskin, who's also the president of CMP Protective and Investigative Group, an investigative and security firm. Welcome to you both. Alan, a lot of people look at those scenes and they say the officer was too aggressive. Do you agree with that assessment?
Well, first of all, we're going to see more and more of these all over the world in every single democracy. No matter how good the police departments are, you're going to see some individuals sometimes overreacting. You're going to see videos which, when put in full context, perhaps are explained or justified. I can't make a judgment based on just seeing that. All I can say is that we should not judge our police departments based on isolated videos of individuals. Every profession has people who overreact or exceed the rules, so we should not be generalizing.
Tom, in that video, you can hear the officer clearly say, "Come with me or I'm going to make you." Has everyone rushed to judge this officer?
I don't know if they've run to judge the officer, and I agree with Alan that it's a little too quickly to judge what happened in that specific scenario. But it appears that the officer may have overreacted. And that does happen from time to time in any career. But, you know, in police work, you're judged to a higher standard. And if that officer did overreact, then the officer will be punished or disciplined, and some corrective action will be taken. But we don't know what happened before the video was actually turned on.
FBI Director James Comey recently commented on the continuing criticism and the scrutiny police departments around the country are receiving. Let's listen to what he had to say.
I spoke to officers privately in one big city precinct who described being surrounded by young people with mobile phones held high, taunting them when they get out of their cars. They said,
now, when you hear that from the FBI director, Tom, do you believe the use of cell phone cameras and all these videos have caused a lot of officers to stop doing their jobs when they're confronted with all these video cameras and these provocative statements from people?
Well, that's the world we're living in, and that's the society we're living in. And officers who now sign up to do that job understand that the world that they're living in, because they do the same thing with their families and their friends. The problem that's going to exist is an officer going to take that extra split second or second in responding to something the way he probably should, because he's scared of being second-guessed on Monday. And that's my fear as being a past police detective.
Alan, you told us we have to get used to this new world of video. What would you advise the police to do?
Well, first of all, there ought to be training, and policemen ought to be told that everything they do will be seen by others. That has to be the operating assumption. And I think FBI Director Comey is right. He has a point. There's no free lunch. We should be holding police to a high standard. But the higher we hold the police to a standard and the more we visually track them, you're going to get some cases in which the police won't do what they would have otherwise done and will pay a cost. In a democracy, we have to strike that balance, and we shouldn't be arguing in extremes. We shouldn't be arguing that it's never the policeman's fault, and we shouldn't be arguing that it's always the policeman's fault. We have to understand that the balance we strike today is different than the balance we struck in the past, because everything the police do is now visible. They have to be trained for that. But on the other hand, they have to be trained to intervene. That's their job. And they have to, sometimes they're going to make mistakes, and they're going to make it often in good faith in an effort to prevent worse things from happening. That's the balance that has to be struck. Whether it's here in the United States or in Jerusalem or in England or in Paris, these problems are now arising all over the world, and the police have to learn how to deal with them, and we're the ones who the police are trying to protect. So we have a stake in making sure that they're well trained to live in this new world.
Alan Dershowitz, Tom Ruskin, our thanks to you both. The name of Alan's book, once again, is The Case Against the Iran Deal. After the break, Donald Trump tweets out columns about the latest presidential poll. Our political panel will prognosticate and analyze when Newsmax Prime comes back. You've probably heard about the shocking new book, Unlikable, The Problem with Hillary by Edward Klein. Unlikable has already skyrocketed to the top of the bestseller lists. It's probably the most powerful expose on Hillary ever written. The author, Edward Klein, wrote the #1 New York Times bestsellers, The Amateur and Blood Feud. Now in Unlikable, Klein offers a stunning, powerful expose of Hillary Clinton and her floundering race for the White House. With unprecedented access, Klein meticulously recreates conversations and details of Hillary Clinton's behind-the-scenes plotting. Klein also reveals the angry rivalry between Hillary and Barack Obama. Now, Unlikable retails for $29.95, but you can get it with our free offer. So, get this almost $30 value today. Just go online or call the toll-free number on your screen. With the 2016 election fast approaching, you need to get Unlikable and be armed with the truth about Hillary. Check out our incredible offer right now.